Hey, hi guys, greetings of the day. Hope you guys can hear me clearly. Yeah. Hope you all can hear me clearly. Greetings of the day. I'm Arvind Suryadev. I will be your presenter for today. Yeah. And I'll be taking you guys through the, aftermath of the results. Right. So that's what I'll be taking you guys through. And I saw some of your questions here. Right. I'll be addressing them as we go along. Yeah. You guys can ask me any questions also. Right. Before we get started, and as since everyone's joining, right, I'll give you a small intro about myself also. Yeah. Now, my name is Arvind Suryadev. I did ACCA back in 2013 and then did CIMA and some other qualifications too. Right now, I've been teaching ACCA from 2012, and I was a top scorer back in my day. So hopefully, I can help you guys with some exam techniques. Some of you were particularly asking for exam techniques. So maybe I can help you with that, right? And I specialize in financial management, performance management. At this point, I specialize in every other subject, I would say, right? So except maybe law. I don't teach law, I guess. But anyway, let me take you guys through this, and hopefully, I can help you guys have a better attempt in September. Right now, first off, yeah, how to pass your September exams? Well, let's see what the slides have to tell us and what we'll be discussing today. So, we'll be talking about the key result questions and some simple tips and techniques from my end, and some general, tips and techniques also. How to use the examiner reports effectively. We'll be talking about that, right? Because you guys may have received or seen the examiner's report. The golden rule to passing. What do you really need? Do you really need to conquer the entire subject? Yeah, to get your 50 marks, right? We'll talk about that and general Q&A. Yeah, you guys can ask me any questions regarding ACC exams and what you have to prepare for. Right now, let's get into this. So, what do we have here? So, you failed your June exam. Where did I go wrong? This is what you should be asking yourself. Now, for anybody who has written SBL, yeah, you guys would know the idea, right? And I hope there isn't too much background noise. I have a house being demolished. My neighbor's house is getting demolished. Apologies. Yeah. Now, anyway, so yeah, some of you may have done SBL, for example, or BT, the most basic paper, or at least somewhere you would have seen the idea of planning out a strategy. Yeah. So the planning out a strategy starts with understanding where you stand, strategic position analysis. That's what you got to do first. So here we have, I failed my June exam. Where did I go wrong? Should I do a resit? I've been studying another subject. What should I do? These are the common questions that students have. Yeah, when they don't make it through an exam, right? So to address them, well, where did you go wrong? That you have to find out. Maybe it was not that. Maybe it was that you didn't have enough practice, or maybe it was that you didn't cover all the topics. Maybe, right? Or maybe it was something else. Just bad times. Yeah, in life, why not, right? Or it could have been any of that. But that you have to analyze for yourself. You have to understand why did you go wrong. Yeah. Should you do the reset? Now I can help you answer that one. Well, it depends on what you've been doing so far. Were you confident that you already cleared the exam, or were you worried that you wouldn't clear the exam? Yeah. So if you I am sorry, guys. I think we had a technical issue there. Yeah. So I hope you guys can see me and hear me, right? You guys can confirm on the side, of course. Um, all right. Yeah. All right. Wonderful. Yeah. I got confirmation from support. So coming back to what we were talking about, yeah. Now, should you do the reset? Again, that's a very person-specific question. Depends on where you stand right now, yeah, and what you've been doing in the times, right, in these days, yeah. Have you been studying for another paper? Have you been preparing for the same paper because you are not confident, right, from the get-go? So it depends on all of those questions that you have to first answer before you can decide whether you want to immediately reset. But from a general standpoint, I always recommend that you immediately reset. Why? The knowledge is fresh. That's why most papers have some kind of relation with each other. So you can try to use that to your advantage, a bit of synergy. Yeah. So try to apply that. I would always say do it as soon as possible. Yes, sometimes it can be a little bit of work, yeah, especially if you're working on the side and you have to do this, preparing for a couple of papers together. But it's not impossible, yeah. And the results just came out, so you do have time to make up your mind and yeah. Uh, right, and decide whether you want to reset immediately. But my recommendation, always reset immediately as soon as possible. Get rid of it. That would be my recommendation. Yeah. Then I've been studying on the subject. What should I do? Yeah, I think that whatever I just told you answers for that, right? So if you've been studying on the subject, for example, if you've been doing SBL or SBR and you cleared or you didn't clear, say, AA, audit and assurance. Yeah, one of my students had that issue. Maybe you could try to find a common ground for these papers when you're learning them. For example, SBR is based on IFRS. AA also requires you to have a good knowledge of IFRS. So finding some synergies like that can help you do multiple papers at a given time. Back in the days when I was writing my exams, it was a 6 month thing, right? Some of you may know that. But yes, we used to write 3 papers at a go. Yeah, it's not impossible, right? And yeah, I think given the right time, you can do multiple papers. Yeah. But of course, you have to answer that for yourself as a person. Where do you stand when it comes to the knowledge you already have? Yeah. Now, I passed my June exams. Let's see this scenario, right? Should I take 2 exams? Well, again, that depends on the person that you are. If you get the right support, if you get the right resources, right? I don't think it should be a problem attempting 2 exams. I've had students do 3 exams, which is a bit of a push. You have to be completely into studying for that. But yeah, 2 exams doable. Should I take 3 exams? Like I said, if you're in for the push, if you like challenges, yeah, most recommended. I have done this during my times. It's not impossible. Yeah, you can ace a couple of exams also. Again, it feels it all depends on how confident you are or what you already know, yeah, and how much time you think you can dedicate, right, to your studies for these said papers. Yeah. And what subject should I do next? Well, again, depends on what subject you just cleared. So for somebody who cleared a management paper like PM, yeah, you may want to try out something new or you may want to try out something different. FR, tax, yeah, all of these papers, right, are for yours to choose from. Yeah. If you did FM, maybe you want to do AFM. If you have access to the P-level papers, then yeah, sure, that is also a good way to go. Somebody who wants to do a couple of combinations of papers together, I think AA and SBR are a good combination. Yeah. Personally, I also feel PM and FM or PM and taxation, 2 different subjects. Yes, a lot of work to go through, but I guess I mean they're favorite subjects to me. They're quite easy once you understand the concepts. The taxation paper can be quite lengthy because it involves a lot of stuff. So again, you got to think of how much time you have till September. Yeah, think of August end as the end of time, right? And then decide how you're going to spend the days up to that date, right? And how you're going to assign it to your studying, especially if you're taking 3 exams and such. Yeah. Now, if you didn't sit in June, what's your go, right? You're only starting now. What should I do? Well, it's not too late to start. It is, I would say, the right time to start. Anything beyond this, I would say, is getting into the late territory, which is also not a problem as long as you're willing to put in more work. Yeah. So it all depends on you as a person. If you are willing to start right now, yes, best time to start. If by chance you're not able to, again, it's not a problem, but it's a lot of work that you will have to go through if you want to write in September. Yeah. And what subject should you do, especially if you're starting out, right? Find or look through all the subjects, see what works for you. Some of these subjects you may have learned, right? For example, financial reporting. Yeah. Some of financial reporting or a lot of financial reporting is based on IFRS and financial accounting, right? I mean, it is IFRS all through and through. So if you have some IFRS knowledge or if you have some financial accounting knowledge, maybe you could build on that and that would be an easier paper for you to approach. Yeah. Since you're doing a paper for the first time, right? I'm talking about people writing a first time exam. Yeah. Now, if you're not somebody who's writing an ACCA paper for the first time, but going to get back to ACCA after a break, right? For example, you didn't sit in June, or maybe you had a 1 hour break. Yeah. And Sorry, guys. Yeah. Maybe you had a 1 hour break, right? Whatever it is. Yeah. Now, for such people also, I would say go with something that suits your taste. Yeah. For example, back in the days for me, performance management was a paper I absolutely loved. Yeah. So because of that, I got a good score for it, right? I would say it would be easy for, yeah, a person to get back into studies if they can find the right paper to start out with. At least with ACCA, I would say that. Yeah. Now, if you don't feel like you're making progress, well, try out the revision kits or exam kits or any kind of exam question bases that are available. Try out questions. Yeah, because the more the questions you don't answer, the more you will learn, right, why you went wrong. The more the questions you do answer, the more confident you get. Yeah. So it's one thing to learn a topic. Yes, it's one thing to understand the concept. It's another thing to apply it. So I would always say after a point, right, maybe 10 days, 15 days of constant, yeah, understanding concepts and acquiring knowledge, sure, if you're fresh to it. Yeah. After that, it has to be a lot of question practice, because without question practice, you don't get anywhere. That's one thing that a lot of students miss out on. You can't just read a text or just watch a video and then go write the ACCA exam. You got to understand the concept. You got to try it out. Yeah. You got to apply the concept. That's the way to clear pretty much every other ACCA exam. Yeah. Now, moving on from there, let's see what's up. Yeah. And also, I didn't ask you guys about your results, right? I saw some of you updating your results here, right? And for you guys, yes, I will give you guys some tips and techniques towards the end or in between, of course. Some of these tips, yeah, which I'm going to mention right now, is first off, plan your study, right? Always make sure you have a plan of what you're going to be doing. Just like how you wake up and decide, okay, I have these things to do for today and I'll do all of that, right? I use a checklist to keep track of things. So something like that, right? If you can't make a detailed checklist, at least make a topic wise checklist. Just think of the topics that you have to go through. So plan your study. Then study regularly. I know this is a quite a tall question for some people, at least, right? Because if you're balancing work and family and transition from, say, one place to another, one job to another, life happens. So studying on the go is a skill that you guys will have to develop. Yeah. But I guess that's a skill that every professional needs. So try to dedicate 60 to 90 minutes for 5 days. This is the ideal, yeah, way to study, right? Rather than studying over one day or just over 2 days. But again, right, there will always be exceptional cases. Yeah. You have to find out what works for you, right? So 60 to 90 minutes a day, that's the most recommended one for 5 days. Take a 2 day break in between. Yeah. Relax for a bit. But if you're not able to do that, at least 45 minutes a day or 30 minutes a day every day, right? If you have a commute or something, right? Maybe read something in between, maybe try some questions in your mind, right? Or maybe try some questions on the commute, right? However you do it, yeah, try to do it. That's the whole point. Then practice questions. As I told you earlier, building knowledge, yes, one thing, but applying that knowledge, testing that knowledge, yeah, did you really build the actual knowledge? That's always a question that you have to answer. Yeah. So try that. Once you do more questions, do not be scared of mock exams, or do not be a stranger to mock exams, right? So the whole idea of mock exams or mock exams are for you guys to understand how the exam would be structured. So you guys should not be missing out on mock exams, right? The more the mocks you can do, the better, right? And the more confident you can be for the exam. It's like trying driving before you actually go for the driving test, I would say. Yeah, so please do that. Yeah, it's a mock exam. What can go wrong, right? You only learn about yourself more and more by doing a mock. Yeah. Then listen to the examiner. Yeah, especially when you're looking through the examiner's reports or any other examiner, yeah, created article, right? Try to listen to them, or even when you're writing questions, yeah, what does the question want? Try to understand that. Vital information and guaranteed marks available if you take the advice on offer. That is true. When an examiner gives you offer, I mean, gives you advice, yeah, it directly leads to the idea of or what you need to do to achieve those marks. So listen to the examiner. Yeah, that's one thing, right? And use an approved learning provider. Yes, ACCA, right? As far as ACCA goes, they have something called CPD. You guys may know that, continuous professional development, right? So you have to keep learning. Yeah. So topics always get updated. So approved learning partners are at the top of this. Yeah. And approved learning partners have to go through a lot before they can get that approved learning partner status. Yeah. So it's always better to spend your money with an approved learning partner than with anybody else, right? So yeah, they say this is a metric. They say, right, students who use an approved learning partner are 25% more likely to pass, because approved learning partners are in touch with ACCA and have the most updated syllabus and the most efficient ways, right, on learning what needs to be learned. Yeah. Moving on from there, guys. examiner reports. Yeah. Why it's important to think like an examiner? Well, think like an examiner for 5 minutes or 2 minutes or just 10 seconds right now. What would you be looking for? If you were an examiner, you would check, yeah, especially if you're a professional exams examiner, you would check if a person's answer, right, is of a certain quality, is of a certain grade. Yeah, is it good enough to say that, okay, this person, he knows what he or she knows what this is all about, right? Or, yeah. So think like an examiner when you're writing an answer. Yeah, think what the examiner is looking for, right? And then try to understand that. The vital insights that can be learned from the examiner's report. Yes, if you look through past examiners' reports, you can understand what the examiner was ideally looking out for and what were some inappropriate responses, I would say, for the said question. Yeah. So how to best use examiners' reports to ensure you pass also. Yeah, again, see, the whole idea is if you already wrote an exam, this applies to you quite a lot. Yeah, you have to see where you went wrong. So, what did the examiner want from you? What did you get wrong? Yeah. Once you understand this, it's like variance analysis, another thing that you learn in, well, PM. Some of you may be writing PM. So, variance analysis is the idea of comparing the budget to the actual. Yeah. What did we think would happen and what actually happened? Now, once you understand this, you can go through or you can try to analyze where things went wrong. What we talked about at the beginning. Yeah. Same thing. So the examiner's report can be a great resource. Yeah. To understand that. Now, the golden rule to passing, as mentioned earlier, guys, technical understanding, number one thing. You got to have some knowledge. Yeah. You got to know what is there in your subject. You got to know what the different topics are. There are different concepts to be learned. You got to definitely apply that, or you got to definitely learn that and then apply that. Application to scenario is the next situation. Yeah. So 20 percentage would be technical understanding, 40 percentage would be application to scenario, or you can say at your 40 percentage level of studying, start questions. Yeah, that's what I was telling you guys earlier. For the first few days, you can try to acquire a lot of knowledge. After that, start applying this to scenarios as you acquire more knowledge. And then towards the end, after say about 60-70% of your studies being completed, or 70% of your time towards the exam being completed, the last 30% of time left, well, switch to exam practice also. Yeah, along with bettering your technical understanding and trying out, well, new scenarios just to see if you are able to solve a question from a particular area any way the question is asked. Yeah, so that's the ideal way to approach studying for, yeah, studying to clear the exam. And just by doing this, right, you guys are not just studying to pass the exam, you're actually going to be better than that. Yeah, ultimately you'll be very good, because if you judiciously follow this, yeah, you got to do quite well. Application to scenarios and exam standard practice towards the end, very important. Technical understanding, well, without understanding anything, it will be too big a mountain to climb. Yeah, if you guys wanted to go into the exam like that. Right now, moving on from there, everything you need to pass. Well, what we have on Learn Signal, right, as a provider, as an approved learning partner, what do we have and what do we do different? Well, we have lectures covering 100% syllabus and notes on every topic. Yeah, I'm also a support lecturer on Learn Signal, right? So you'll be seeing me in some of your classes. Yeah, I'm an expert for AFM, SPR, SPL. So you'll see me in some of those classes. Yeah, if you guys do have, if you guys do end up joining us, then we do have exam standard practice questions and tutor walkthrough and solutions. Yes, on my support classes, I usually help students understand any question that they have not got an idea of, or maybe even check with me what their idea is, and then I'll tell them if they have the right idea. So exam standard practice, very important. This is something that helps us, well, maintain a good pass rate. Yeah. And tutor walkthroughs help the student understand what they really need to understand. So no questions or no stones unturned. Yeah. Then towards the end, what I was talking about earlier, the whole exam standard practice that you have to do towards the end. Revision boot camp is something that helps a lot of students. It's a bunch of questions. It's a lot of questions actually that tests you in different ways on different topics from a certain paper. So this can be quite useful. Then comes the mock exams, yeah, that prepare you for the exam day, right? And yeah, so we have all of those, yeah, that definitely help. And it's all laid out in quite a nice fashion, yeah, because I was going through this when I initially joined Learn Signal. And I thought, wow, this is so cool. If I had this back in the days, right, I could have maybe written 4 exams in one sitting. Yeah, I could have tried, right? But yeah, this is so cool. So you guys, please do check it out, right? Yeah. And one more, yeah, a feature of what we provide: 24/7 tutor support. You can always reach out to me on WhatsApp, yeah, and regular webinars, podcasts, yeah, like a webinar like this. We have webinars on different topics And this is essentially to keep you motivated so that you guys can connect with each other. You guys can talk about the exam. You guys can ask people what you need to know about the exam. And you guys can also see if you're on track. Yeah, that's one of the main things, right? Then moving on from there, in June 2025, we had a great result. Yeah. So we exceeded the global pass rates. We had for almost every other subject out there. Yeah, we 90% of the subjects. So I think it was two subjects where we were linearly missing the global pass rate. But yes, for March and June, we've exceedingly done well, right? So looking forward to great victories. Yes, hoping that some of you will be joining us in those victories. Yeah. Then moving on, guys, problems students facing during their studies. Well, let's come back to discussing about, well, what really happens when you guys are studying. And maybe if somebody has failed an exam, somebody told me they failed a couple of times, what has been going wrong? Let's talk about that. Yeah. So quality of the student material, yeah, could be one thing. I'm not sure where you guys are learning from, right? So I wouldn't say something bad just like that. I'm not saying that. But the point is, the quality of your study material matters a lot. I have seen a lot of material on the internet when I was a student back in the days. I don't want to name anything, but there were some free resources available, which technically were not really adequate. Yeah. And I remember that was, well, the one exam that I did not clear on the first attempt. So it was very, well, very emotional for me. Yeah. During that time, not a big deal now. But anyway, so it was because the quality of the material was not up to the mark. It was too, what do you call it, too slim. Yeah. If that makes sense. Right. And then videos, practice questions. Yeah. Wherever knowledge is required. Back in the days when I did my exams, YouTube videos on ACCA topics, yeah, or even support-oriented videos, which I could pay for and get, almost not available, right? They were yeah, non-existent. Yeah, but today we have these things, and that could be something that could, yeah, uh, differentiate between a good performance and a bad performance in the exam. Yeah. Then scarcity of authentic study notes. Yeah, proper study notes that actually help you understand what you need. This is the problem that I faced back in the days. Yeah. Lack of revision. Now, this is a very student-specific problem. Even if you have the best material out there, even if you have everybody, yeah, that you need to learn, if you don't revise, well, you're setting up yourself for some danger. That could be a problem. Yeah. Then no expert tutor support. Yes, always having a tutor to help you through some topics that you don't know about, or help you understand some topics, help you clear your doubts. Very important. Yeah. So no expert tutor support can again make a difference between a passing or a great mark versus a not so great performance. Yeah. And no connection with genuine students. Yes, that this is something very important. I had the opportunity of going to an institution where, back in the days where ACCA was being taught, which was great because I got to connect with people. Today we do it over the internet, but it's even better because you get to connect with people around the world. Yeah. So connection with genuine students around the world, understanding problems that everyone's facing, how can we do better as a community of accountants, right? Ultimately, everyone's going to be part of the ACCA fraternity. So things like that, yeah, that can be quite helpful, right? Feeling that you're alone and you're just here to clear some exam that gives you some kind of an accreditation, that's the wrong foot forward. Yeah. Then lack of one-to-one coaching. Yes. Especially, I think, yeah, as a tutor, I can tell you this is quite important. Yeah. As a student, I did not, or maybe I didn't have an opportunity to see this as a student, but I guess, yeah, for some subjects, this would have been quite crucial, at least, right? For some students, or at least what I've seen over the years of teaching a lot of students, especially in these one-to-one coaching sessions, is that this can quite help a student quite a lot. Yeah. Because I've had students having that eureka moment in my class, right? Quite a lot. Yeah. So that's always been quite interesting, right? Whenever you help somebody learn a new concept and they get it, yeah, it's always that eureka moment, right? So that, I guess, you get to see a lot of that in one-to-one coaching, because in a full size class, you're not always able to address everybody, and not everybody may always come up with questions. So if it is, yeah, not delivered in a certain way, it may be hard for everybody to get something in a normal class. So one-to-one coaching can definitely help you because it's more of a direct approach. It's like, hey, what is wrong here? You can ask a direct question and you get a direct answer. So that definitely helps. Yeah. And no access to corrected homework and mocks. Yeah, that's another problem. Uh, if you're writing a mock, well, you will have to correct your own mock if you're on your own. Yeah. Or if you're doing homework, there is no feedback because you have to go through the answer and then check the homework and then, okay, decide that, okay, I did kind of well. But if you could get somebody to go through this, somebody who's an expert to go through this, yeah, and decide or tell you how well you fared, right? Or if somebody could go through your mock attempt and tell you, okay, if this was a good attempt or a bad attempt, well, that would give you more feedback, and feedback is more important when you're trying to improve yourself. Yeah. Now, moving on from there, guys, pricing plans for all your needs. This is, yes, what we have in Learn Signal for on offer for you guys. So we have the standard packaging, we have the premium packaging, the pro one, and the elite one. Yeah, these are the new packages, right? So we have guided study plans on all of them. So this helps you, well, keep track of time basically, and how you should be cracking different, yeah, parts of each paper. We have the video lectures. Now this is quite important, right? It's not your average lecture. It's well, it's in quite detail, it's very conceptual, so you can learn a lot of things, and they work quite fast also. It's not like it's a, yeah, long video lecture. You won't get bored, trust me. Do watch them. Yeah. And downloadable study notes to help you, yeah, study on the go, so you can always read wherever you are. Practice questions, as mentioned earlier. Practice is very important. Yeah, practice makes perfect in this situation and almost every situation. So yes, the boot camp is one of the features that are only available from the premium subscription, as you guys can see. We have tutor support also only from the premium subscription, right? The WhatsApp group support also starts from this. Now, what's special about Pro and Elite then? Well, Pro gives you access to all the webinars, one-to-one study planning calls. So you essentially get to sit down with a teacher and plan out, yeah, what you're going to be doing every week, or how you're going to be, or how you're going to be tackling new topics, and what we're going to be learning every week. That's what happens in the one-to-one study planning call. And a corrected mock also comes in the Pro Edition and the Elite variant. Yeah. Whereas the best things that you get if you go for the Elite variant is the one-to-one weekly calls. So a lot of students that, yeah, take this particular subscription, right, they actually do quite well, and it's always nice to see people doing well and people feeling good about, yeah, learning something or actually spending their money on something that's worth it. So I think, yeah, I think it's a great addition. The Elite subscription is definitely great. One-to-one weekly call with tutors, so you get to address all your questions on a, yeah, person-to-person basis. Dedicated tutor support on WhatsApp. You can always text me, yeah, if I'm your tutor, that is, right. And homework is corrected, right? That is also, yeah, another thing that comes up in the Elite subscription. Yeah. Now, these are the different packages. You guys can go through this. This is available on our website, or reach out to our support for more information. A lot of our students, right, work in all of these places. Now, yes, that is, yeah, because we know, yeah, what we're learning, right? It's ACCA. Obviously, if you can crack ACCA, all these companies want you, right? So here you go. Yeah, this is where our students are working. So you can see the big four on top. There's BDO, there's JP Morgan Chase, Accenture, Amazon, Meta, Facebook, yeah, Toyota, and Coca-Cola. Now, there are more companies, right? This is just the main companies listed out here. So, yeah. Moving on from there, we are also one of the best rated ACCA tuition providers. You guys can check out the 5-star reviews that we have, go through our Google reviews, right? So, some of the reviews here, yeah, you can see the positive impression that a lot of people have had. And personally, right, I've been working with Learn Signal for almost 8 months now. Yeah. And I think it's been great, right? I've got to meet a lot of students, and I got to help them through the March and the June attempt. So on that front, I think it's a great venture, or it's great what's happening here. So yeah, it's definitely something that could add a lot of value to your academics. Yeah. So moving on from there, guys, there is a 60% off on the standard annual tuition. Yeah. If you register with us, right, and there's a coupon code for that. Be quick on this, because this offer is not something that is in our hands. It's an ACCA partner thing. Yeah. So check it out, and yeah, yeah, then you can, right, let us know. Yeah. Now, moving, yeah, that's pretty much it from my end. Yeah. Other than that, to sum up everything that we had to go through, right, exam tips. As far as the exam tips I told you, I'll tell you guys about. I would say most important is acquiring knowledge. Acquire knowledge from the right sources. When you learn something, try to sit down and learn it. Yeah, if you're not able to crack it immediately, let go of it for a bit. Maybe look into another topic, maybe go do something else, come back to it. Yeah. And when you do come back to it, you'll have a fresher mind, and that will help you learn something faster, right? So that's one thing. Acquiring knowledge is crucial, especially at the time right now. Yeah, we have about, I think, 50 days to the exam. So, right, give or take 50 days. So, till the end of the month, at least, maybe acquiring some knowledge, and towards the end of the month, start questing practice. Make sure you guys, yeah, push it up, right? And other than that, yeah, what would I say? Question practice would be very important. Yes, exam prep is important, but question practice is also very important. Why? Because if you don't practice, right, you will not be able to answer the questions. If you don't practice, you will not be able to answer the questions. So, yeah, question practice is very important. Yes, exam prep is important, but question practice is also very important. Why? Because if you don't practice, right, you will not be able to answer the questions. So, multiple choice questions. You can even try out, for example, if you're doing something like AFM, you can try out smaller questions from FM just to see if your knowledge is in the right place. But once you cover a certain level of your topics, say about 60 to 70%, or say 40 to 50 also, at least towards by the end of this month, I would say start stepping up the kind of questions you're practicing. Yeah. And by mid-August, I hope that you guys will be, well, at least it's 80% completion on your portions. In that case, you have a good amount of time to write your mock exams. Now, this may be a stringent timetable for a lot, so make sure you understand what you have committed to for the next 50 days. Try to sort out your time. Find the time that works for you. Some people learn during the night, some people learn during the day, right? Whatever works for you, find that. Yeah. And like I said, if you want additional resources to help you ace that exam or make sure that you do pass, you can try out the learning resources. Yeah. And there's a link, guys, that you can check out today. Join ACCA Standard Annual Tuition today, right? The offer that I was talking about. Yeah. You can probably save on your tuition fees, right? So it's not your exam fee, sorry, it's your tuition fee, but this is an offer for today. Yeah. So check it out. This is part of being, well, part of you guys spending all your time in the seminar, right? Yeah, that's why we have it here. Now, Q&A, yeah, you guys are welcome to ask me any questions you may have. And I already see there are some questions over here. How to pass F8 and specifically F5? Well, yes. F8 is AA, that is audit, right? For audit, question practice again, right? And yes, it's a lot of knowledge. I mean, it's knowledge based. So you got to go through the knowledge. Don't forget that. Make sure you, go through the topics once. I know it can be a drag, especially if you're somebody who's new to audit. So try to understand the crux of it, like how it works. As you know, right, there are steps to an audit. There are different types of engagements. The one that we are mostly referring to is an external audit, but also learn about other assurance engagements. So try to learn off the simple things, try to learn the skeleton of the subject, then add in more detail. Yeah. And when you add in more detail, try to learn questions or try to do questions from those areas. That's one thing for F8. F5, well, again, same thing. Try to divide the topics into different chunks. What do you need to know? The costing techniques are one. For example, off the top of my head, you do have budgeting and pricing. So budgeting and pricing are, well, I wouldn't say one-off topics, but they're easy to learn if you just want to start learning something. Yeah. Or if you don't have time to sit down and write things, right? Similarly, if you can break a paper into its skeleton and then start adding some more detail at different levels, that's a way to understand a paper. So that could help you understand the entire paper as one concept. Yeah. So that works for a lot of students. You guys can try that out. Then what are the other questions here? How to pass FR? Well, if you guys ask me question paper specifically, how to pass them, well, the answer is going to be the same. The answer is definitely going to be acquire knowledge, apply that knowledge, keep practicing on how you apply that knowledge. And of course, if you can get feedback on how you apply the knowledge, get that. That would be very important. Yeah. So that would be one thing. Other than that, what else can I add on? Always break a subject into its skeletal parts, understand the flow of the chapters or the flow of the topics, then add on the details so that you have a more, what do you call it, zoomed in view. So start with the bird's eye view, zoom in, essentially that, right? Then tips on the new IFRS 18 standard. Okay, so that is a very standard specific question. Yeah. What is the new IFRS 18? I think IFRS 18 was, presentation and disclosure and financial statements. Yes, this is the new standard that has come up. Well, I haven't gone through this one yet because I was on a break since, well, people are only starting to study now. Yeah. So I was on a break for the last week, 2 weeks, right? So once I'm back on this, I can comment on this. If I comment on this, it would be premature. Yeah. So I shouldn't be doing that, right? So IFRS 18, as far as I know about IFRS and how presentation and disclosure goes, there would be some changes from the previous standards. We had IFRS 1. Yeah, IFRS 1 was adoption of IFRS standards, right? And then, so we had the other standards in tandem to it. So let's see what has changed or what of the IEA standards it's changing. So before that, if I made a comment, that'd be too premature. So let me go through that first. That was not something, that was not a question I was prepared for today. What is the new IFRS 18 standard? Right. Anyway, could you please discuss AAA too? Well, yes, I would love to discuss AAA, but the problem is I specialize in APM and AFM. Yeah. So I'm not a AAA guy, right? I do teach audit. Yeah. So I can give you a basic idea about, well, what you need for AA and what you need for AAA. But not probably the most detailed idea because I personally haven't written AAA. Yeah. Now, AA, audit and assurance, was a testing topic. It was the one paper where I faced an issue because I learned from the wrong set of notes. By wrong set of notes, I mean something that was too simple. It simplified the knowledge, but then it didn't give me the knowledge that was required. So I would say acquire the knowledge again, right? Practice questions. With AA, very important that you practice questions. You guys may have seen this. The answer that you're thinking is not the answer in the question, yeah, or for the question. So that comes up quite a lot in AA, and it is not a calculation based paper as such. So the objectivity and the subjectivity in that paper are, yeah, quite off. So you may want to check that out in that context, right? So practice more questions, always try to understand what the examiner is asking for. And some simple things that you got to know: assertions, right? What are the different types of, yeah, tests of controls, or what can you do? How much substantive testing should be there? So try to break the subject into different parts that you can link to each other, like a blockchain. Yeah, that could definitely help, right? Then could you advise if there is any issue with using PM and FR study text for June 2025 to prepare for December 2025? Well, okay, that's very well, Isaac, yeah, I wouldn't say there is any problem as such. You got to check out the ACCA website to see what has been updated, if there is any change. Yeah, and if you're lucky to get the later copy of the set textbook, check that also out. But as such, the concepts do remain the same. With FR, since it's IFRS, yeah, if there is an IFRS update and the textbooks were updated during that time, yeah, there may be some changes. With PM, not so much unless they have added any new topic. This would be discussed on the ACCA website. So all you got to do is log into your ACCA ID, go on your study resources, and check it out. Yeah, that should help you there, right? Then moving on from there, yes, please help. Is it feasible to take SBL and resit APM? Okay, in September. Yes, absolutely. SBL and APM are a beautiful combination. The reason I tell you this is, well, is because, well, I'll give you two reasons as to why it's good and one reason as to why it's bad. So SBL and APM, they're more or less on the same lines. You do learn about strategies, you learn about critical success factors, linking KPIs to these critical success factors. So understanding this is a big part of SBL. Using this is a big part of APM. APM is about getting people to perform in a certain way so that you can achieve a certain strategy, whereas SBL is about, well, learning how to build that strategy. Yeah. So both subjects kind of take after each other. The problem though about learning these subjects, yeah, the one problem of doing them together for September is that both are quite lengthy. APM is also quite lengthy. SPL is, yes, quite a big paper. You guys may know about the pre-seen material that you get 2 weeks before your SBL exam, which is not something that you have to prepare through. It's just a scenario that kind of sets up the stage for the questions in the exam. So yeah, that's something you may want to think of. So it depends on how much time you have on hand. So otherwise, yeah, SBL and APM, yeah, absolutely good combination. Go ahead. Yeah. Then, when do you have a seminar for the taxation exam tips? Oh, wish I'm not sure about that. We will have one soon, right? I believe. It's usually for all the exams or all the papers together. So you guys will get an invite for that. Please make sure you join. Yeah. Then, could you give some tips for FR? Okay, I think I already addressed that. I need to start from foundation. I really need to have a guidance for the right start. Okay. For the right start, yeah. Uh, I'm talking to Yubu Kamohanda. Yeah, yeah, right. So I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yeah. Now you have to start from the beginning. If that's the case, you have a blank slate. Start with the normal progression of the papers that ACCA has mentioned. I think the normal progression is the best progression. Yeah, even if you want to choose another paper in between, go ahead, no problem. But the normal start that you have from BT and then management accounting, then financial accounting, or the first three papers in one go, this is very good. Yeah, that's effectively where I will ask you to start. If you're facing problems with that, there are papers before that, for example, FA2, MA2, these papers, which are the pre-diploma papers, you could call them, right? So these papers, yeah, if you're feeling that MA, FA, and the initial the knowledge level papers are a little too hard, you can check these papers out or some material of those papers out. But I don't think that should be an issue, at least with the knowledge level papers. Start fresh from the first paper. It's the best way to go. Yeah. Then, which paper can be best combined with AFM? Oh, okay. So AFM, well, financial management. The problem with AFM is that at the P level, there aren't too many papers that you can combine with it because it's AFM and yeah, APM that I wrote together, right? And these still are two different subjects, so I wouldn't really recommend that. Now, if you are writing some papers from the knowledge level, or I mean, not the knowledge level, sorry, the skill level, right, or the F level, yeah. If you are, I think Okay, AFM, what would be a good combo with AFM? AA is okay, again, not a good combo. Two different subjects, it will help you, well, not be bored, but it can be quite the big mountain to climb. So, which paper can be best with the FM? PM, but I think you would have already done PM, so I don't think, yeah. If you haven't done PM, sure, you can try PM with the FM. Both are management subjects. I'm assuming that you already finished FM because that's the only way you can write AFM, right? So, yeah, that's what, yeah. Which paper can be best combined with AFM depends on your taste. If you want a paper that goes in synergy with AFM, there aren't so many. FM, AFM, that's the only one. Yeah. So you can't really write FM. PM is a management paper, but again, FM is about investments. PM is more about the performance of people. So getting people to perform to achieve certain things. So yeah, I wouldn't say really related to each other. So it's more of an open quote at that point. You can choose any of the papers. They'll all be different from AFM. Yeah. So something to keep in mind, Emmanuel. Right. Then what is the strategy to learn how to write procedures in AAA? Well, I can't tell you about AAA. I can tell you about AA. The strategy to learn how to write out procedures. Try to understand, yeah, what we are testing for. Are you testing for are you testing for valuation? What assertion are you testing for? Try to understand that. Yeah. And try to understand the audit risk involved. The higher the risk, of course, the more the testing has to be, as you guys know. So try to understand the basic concepts behind those things, and then you can decide how intense or how substantive your procedures need to be. That's one way to go. Mitzi, yeah, I hope you got that right. Then can SBL and SBR be done together? Yes, I did do SBL and SBR together. At that time, it was not SBL. It was P1 and P3. These papers combined to become SBL. P2 was SBR. So, yeah, you can do it. It's not impossible. SBR is all about IFRS. SBL is more about strategy. Both subjects are quite different from each other. SBL is long or quite a lot to read through, but quite the interesting stuff to go through, so you won't be bored. Yeah, that's one thing to look out for. Then can SBL be given with SBR for a full-time working professional, Vikram? Yeah, you can. You can. I wouldn't say no, but then you got to be a working professional who likes challenges. Yeah, because it depends on how much time you have to put into work and how much time you have to put into, well, your studies. Yeah, or how much time you will get to put into your studies. So if you're a full-time working professional, maybe go with one paper at a time. Yeah. But again, SBL is one of the easier, yeah, strategic level papers. So keep that in mind too. Yeah. Again, depends on the person is what I would say. If you're a full-time student, I wouldn't have thought twice. I would have said go ahead. Yeah. Now, I do self-study and have attempted FR in June, did not pass. How can you assist me this September? Okay, I think I already talked about FR, right? If you did self-study, well, maybe you can try out Learn Signal. You know about the resources now, so maybe give it a hand, give it a try, right? Then somebody said thank you. Thank you to you too, and most welcome, of course. And yeah, I think those are the questions. Are there any other questions, guys? Okay. Oh yeah. I was checking the QA on the side right now. What else? What else? Yeah. If anybody has any other question, please feel free. Yeah. I can answer those questions. Now I'm just going back on the chat. Let's see if anybody has asked me anything before that I missed. So Alinaf, yeah, I think you asked me, you do self-study, attempted AFM, and you were given a 41. What do you think I should do? So usually people who get in the 40s, yeah, what we tutors or examiners say is that people who know the knowledge but are kind of not able to apply the knowledge. Yeah. That's when you do have a mark that is close to 50, but not enough to crack the exam. Right. So then if you did self-study, if you want to continue self-study, yeah, you will have to step up on that quite a bit. Right. On the other hand, you can always try something with a little more feedback, yeah, or something with a little more structure to it. Because what happens with self study is that if you're not somebody who's used to self studying, or if you're not somebody who can't, yeah, sit down and do it. For example, for me, it was very hard when I had to study for myself. I would rather, yeah, help my friends and study with them and then study. That's how, yeah, that's how I used to study back in the days. So you gotta like find that. So maybe Learn Signal could be good for you. So give it a try, right? Then need SBL, AAA, Group Link, yeah, Primus. I think the support can help you with that. Emmanuel, which paper can be best combined with the FM? Yeah, I think I already addressed that. Somebody else with a question. Please advise on taxation. I missed it if you talked about it prior to my question. Nokatullah, sorry, I didn't see your question earlier. I think I had seen the question during the session, so I didn't talk about any paper particularly. Now, to give you advice on taxation, well, the thing about taxation is it's a long paper, but try to divide those papers into different parts. That's what I would say about any paper. particularly with taxation, you have the income tax, you have the corporate tax, yeah, you have your, I mean, corporation tax, you have your gains taxation. So once you understand the different parts of this, try to tackle those parts. Try to fill in your information for each of these parts. Question practice would be very important for taxation because one, it's a very calculation oriented paper. Yeah. Another, there is a lot to go through. So you got to really make it muscle memory at some point. I wouldn't say memorize things, but there are some nuances that you got to remember in taxation. So practice, practice, practice. That's what I would do. Is it doable within this time left? It's a reset. Since it's a reset, even if it weren't a reset, I would have said, yes, it is doable, provided you're a full time student. Yeah. But I don't know if you're a full time student. Yeah. Is it doable within this time? Yes, since it's a reset, absolutely. You should have some kind of prerequisite, I mean, not prerequisite knowledge, pre-acquired knowledge, right? So that could probably help you out. Yeah. So yes, because yeah, you're not a full-time student. No, no worries, no worries. That's what we have Learn Signal for. It's supposed to be helpful for working professionals more than full-time students, because full-time students already have a support system. Yeah. So unless they wanted something deeper than that, they may not really benefit. But for working professionals, this could be quite useful. Yeah. And what is this? I'm a training advisor. Yes. Oisin, yeah, yeah, yeah. Please, please, guys, yeah, do go to Oisin, yeah, uh, to check about how Learn Signal can help you. And then, which other professional level paper can be best combined with AFM? Emmanuel, you already asked me that question, no? So, which other professional paper? Okay, okay. Now I see your question. So, professional paper, well, if you want to, you can write SBL. SBL talks about strategy, right? Strategy can be quite applicable in AFM, but the problem with AFM is that we're talking about investments, we're talking about how to run a company, but from a financial viewpoint, because after all, it's financial management. Yeah. So, SBL, on the other hand, will be more about you know building a strategy, running a company, what do you need to know, the general stuff about business, stuff like that, systems and whatnot. Yeah. So that's one thing. Yeah, if you wanted a mix of two very different subjects, you can try SBR and AFM. Some people like that. Personally, I used to like that because if I did the same kind of paper, I would be bored. Yeah. So AFM and SBR are a good combo like that if you want something different. I did AFM and APM together. It was a bit of a challenge, but yes, made it through on both of them. Yeah. But they're two different subjects, even though they say management at the end. One is performance management, the other is financial management. So I wouldn't say, yeah, that is a good combo. So it's very particular to the person. As such, SBL and AFM are not a bad combo because SBL is not too big a paper. I mean, it's a big paper, but it's not too hard a paper. AFM is also an interesting paper, so it looks at some aspects which may be applicable to both papers. Yeah. Then, any other questions, guys? What questions do you guys have? Wait 1 second. Tips on passing SBL. Somebody asked me that right now. Do I have a YouTube channel? Can you contact me directly? Well, I'm always with Learn Signal, so you guys can contact me through them, right? I don't have a YouTube channel yet, but yeah, you guys can see me all over the internet, I guess. Right? But hey, YouTube channel maybe in the future. Yeah. Right. What else? What else? Please feel free to ask questions, guys. All questions, yes, are welcome. Tips on passing SBL, Marina. Yeah, I think that's a question you just posted, right? SBL is a long paper, but it's a very interesting paper. So try to read through the topics at least once, right? I think that's the bare minimum that you can do. It's actually a nice read. It talks about what or how people behave, how organizations behave, how we can align that behavior, how we can make a plan to achieve something. So some things that you learn in SBL are actually quite useful in the real world, in our everyday lives. Yeah. So that's really good, right? So try to approach SBL from that angle, then look at scenario based questions, because in SBL, the scenario based questions are of paramount importance, and all the P level papers for that matters. So try to look at SBL from an interesting management text sort of way, so that you can cover your topics. It's always an interesting topic every time in SBL. So I don't think you should be bored. But in the long run, of course, or as you acquire more knowledge, start applying that knowledge, start practicing a lot of questions, because SBL can seem easy on the face of it. When it comes to applying that knowledge to a scenario, it may be a little tough. So please do check that out. Yeah. I hope that helped, right? Marina. Yeah. Then, what else? What else? Does Learn Signal provide help for BSc, OBU? Vikram, I think that would be best addressed with your training advisor. I believe we do. Yeah. So we have multiple programs. right? And just at the skills level, later, okay, what should I look at after PM? So after PM, you have your taxation paper. If you're somebody who likes numbers quite a bit, yeah, taxation can be quite interesting. If you are somebody who likes financial reporting or financial accounting and you missed FA from the knowledge level, yeah, you can try FR, right? Audit can be quite an interesting paper for a lot of people, yeah. And I personally think audit is one of the baby strategic level papers, professional level papers. So you can try audit if you want a challenge. Yeah, it's a bit of a not drag, I would say, but you got a lot to read through, a lot of rules and a lot of structuring in your knowledge. Yeah, but it's a great paper, so you can always consider that also after PM. So any paper can be considered. It's more about what you feel like doing. Yeah. Do you feel like writing something tax oriented, something with calculations, something with thinking about, hey, how can I save taxes? Or do you want to do something where it's about reporting? Okay, what is wrong with this report? What are we getting? Yeah. Or how should we report a certain item? Financial reporting. Auditing, yeah, would be more about, are the directors lying? Are they being honest when they prepare these financial statements? How can we find that out? That's what we do in auditing. Yeah. And then there's financial management, of course, understanding investments, making the right investments, getting money for the investments, managing that cost of capital. So it depends on what you are yearning to learn. Yeah. Because back in the days, that's how I used to learn what I feel like learning. Because anyway, I have to write all the papers when I was an ACCA student, right? So I knew that. So I would think, okay, whatever I feel like learning, yeah, right now I'll learn that. So if you feel like a challenge, like I said, maybe audit. Yeah. But if you're an audit expert, then try something else that feels like a challenge. Yeah. Then just at skills level, what should I look after? Yeah, yeah. There you go. That's your question. Yeah, uh, Ita. Right. Any other questions, guys? And please do notice on chat we have our training advisors. Yes, posting their WhatsApp contact and meeting links. You guys can get in touch with them. Yeah, to get a more thorough understanding of how you should. Yeah, uh, how you should structure your journey towards ACCA, right? Or what all resources we have that can probably help you. Yeah, so you can check that out. Right? Have a more personalized meeting. And yeah, I'm still waiting for questions, guys. So you can post any question that you may have. So sorry, I think there's some technical thing. Yes, if you guys don't, I think somebody has a question. I think there should be more questions like the CB exam. Yes, we do have that. Yeah, we do have more questions like the CB platform. So Rachel, yeah, I think you should check out the boot camp and the mock exam practice questions that we have. Right, so you can check out those with your training advisor. Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I agree with you on that because I did the exams back in the days when we had written exams. So if I had to write the exams again, even though I'm a computer expert, I love computers, I can type quite fast. I would still prefer a handwritten exam, right? So I can definitely yeah, relate to that. The whole CB exam issue. A lot of my students have faced issues also, faulty keyboards, yeah, systems going down. So I would say, yeah, we have some, I mean, not some, we have a platform where you can practice questions just like how you would write in the computer-based exam. So that could give you an idea of what or how you need to type out answers, how to structure things, how to use your worksheets, yeah, your spreadsheets, right, for your calculations, to show those calculations, to call back to the workings, all of that. So do check it out. Yeah, I would definitely advise that you get in touch with the training advisors, ask them to show you a demo of what we actually provide. This could be quite helpful. Yeah. I hope that answers that, Rachel. Yes. Also, the computer which is being used for the exam is not user friendly. Yeah, absolutely. And at time you can't set the format because it doesn't allow you to. Yes, that is also true. You can't set the time format. These are some nuances that, yeah, I know. Uh, we're yeah. See, the thing is, it's the computer-based examinations get better year on year. Yeah, SDA has been doing that, right? So hopefully things will get better as we go down the line and as we only have computer-based exams. A remote-based exam is one option that you can try, Rachel. Yeah, if you personally don't want to use a center's computer and you want to use your own computer. But the problem with the remote-based exam is that you got to have uninterrupted power, uninterrupted internet. because right now in this particular session that we were just having, you may have noticed, yeah, I had a connection issue for like a couple of seconds, but that's enough for ACCA to, well, block you from the exam. So that's a bit of an issue there. Yeah, if you're able to sort that out, you can try a remote exam. But yeah, setting up the pound sign is a challenge, and the computer being yeah, used currently. That's absolutely true. So the CBE, yeah, they're trying to make that better. Now, one hack that I do, yeah, uh, Rachel, yeah, what I do is I mention GBP instead of the pound symbol, right? And I put USD for dollars. So that's something that you can try to do in your CBE exams, right? And yes, the centers don't have the, I mean, not the centers, the institutes, yeah, yeah, there are a disadvantage on that. But you can check out what we have. We have a more advanced system. Yeah, it's very close to what we have on ACCA CBE, so that you can try it out, right, and do give us feedback. Yeah. So, okay. When you did taxation, okay, no matter how you set the formula, it did not work. Oh, okay, all right. So you're telling me this was on the ACCA CBE exam platform, or yeah, or some other CBE exam platform? If it was on the ACCA platform, yeah, well, the thing about taxation, I mean, the thing about, yeah, ACCA platform, right? So, well, the problem is one, it's spreadsheets. Rachel, yeah, I hope you're somebody with experience on spreadsheets, right? You know how brackets and all of those things matter quite a bit. So, the best thing you can do is to try to make up the formulas. But I did try the CB myself, yeah, as a thing to understand how it is for my students, even though I did the written exams. Personally, I hate the CBE, as mentioned before, right? Even I was finding it hard to put in formulas, and I am somebody who uses spreadsheets on the daily. Yeah. So yes, that's a bit of an issue, right? You can try to practice on our CB platform to get the best of, yeah, knowing what can go wrong, right, or what you need to adjust. Yeah, because it's not your standard Excel program or your Google spreadsheets, right? There are slight differences from that. So yeah, that's one thing that, well, you could look at. Practice, 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 right, on a CB platform, then even better. Yeah. Then other questions, guys? And Rachel, I hope I answered your question. Yeah. I was told by a student about the challenges with the computer. Yes. Yeah. Yes, yes, absolutely, Rachel. Yeah, I had a few students who had issues, right? People who did the remote exam but then had disconnections and such, yeah, such issues also. People who went for the center-based CB exam and the keyboard was faulty. They had a replacement keyboard. That keyboard was not the best. Yeah, this leads to time being wasted also. And when I'm there to write an exam, that's the last thing I want to do, right? So yeah, I totally agree with, yeah, that, right? And I'm glad that you're using our platform. Yeah, since you've decided to do that, and that's a great thing, right? Welcome to Learn Signal. Yeah, and hope to see you soon in some support class, right? Then guys, any other questions, please feel free. Last couple of minutes. Yeah. All right. If you guys don't have any questions, please do check out the links being shared on the chat. Yeah. We have the training advisors available. You guys can reach out to them via WhatsApp. You can reach out to them and set up a meeting with them and sit down with them and decide what will work best for you or how the said things can help you. Yeah. Now, with that, guys, I'm wrapping up here for us today, right? It was a great session, and I hope whatever I had to share with you guys helped, right? Looking forward to seeing you guys on our platform. And Subdeep, I see one question: strategy to pass out AFM and APM. Well, last minute, so I'll give you a last minute strategy. Same thing that I told you, I'll just repeat that. And guys, this applies for every exam, okay? Try to break the exams into multiple portions, yeah, or multiple areas. Now, already there are different sections. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you going through the contents and you deciding, okay, this is this, and these areas I can go through. So start with the easier areas if you can, yeah, figure out what's easier, or try to understand the skeleton of the subject, how these areas relate to each other. Then fill in more knowledge. Yeah. So save tips for AFM, APM, PM, yeah, any paper, guys, right? Pretty much, yeah. And yeah, Pamela, yeah, most welcome, right? Most welcome, yeah. So I would say this is the right way to learn, guys. Use your support resources, use any resources you can get, right? And structure your learning, try to understand the basics, then fill in more knowledge. Yeah. So on that note, right, I think we can wrap up today. And APM more scoring than AAA, I wouldn't say so. That depends on the person, man. Yeah. Right. And what is this? It's yeah, 1.5 months. Yes, that's what makes it a challenge. So you may need some support. So yeah, sign up for Learn Signal today, and maybe we can make the best of that 1.5 months. Yeah, give you a proper chance at clearing your exam. Right, not a chance. Yeah, a proper assurance of clearing your exam. So let's work towards that, guys. Hoping to see you guys in our sessions. Thank you, and great to meet you guys. I hope you guys had a great one. You guys have a great rest of the day also. Thank you. Bye bye. Yeah. See you soon.